Welcome everybody to the 2014 Much Games Hall of Fame inductions. LittleBigPlanet and Bragg here with you, and this is also brought to you by MuchGames.ca. So at any point in time, guys, you can say hi.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, people?
So if you guys are watching this right now, which is actually at the end of August 31st, this is actually being recorded a couple of weeks earlier, so you guys will know that the game that actually won the Hall of Fame poll this year actually beat out Tales of Vesperia. Sorry, Grodus. By
That was a close call there.
oh, it was close voting,
close.
but by at least a couple of votes. But yeah, Paper Mario, the original for the N64, the game which actually did feature some decent graphics, but also came out on the Virtual Console back in 2007. And of course, the storyline does feature the fact that Bowser, using a star rod, kidnaps Princess Peach and the castle, and it's up to Mario to save the Star Spirits and get it back. So I'm going to have a fun job of LPing that game. In the meantime, our second game that actually got inducted as well this year was in the tournament. It actually got knocked out in round 4. And that game is actually The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Another good graphic game. The two people that are with me are actually currently LPing the games. Check them out, by the way. Especially for different takes on it. Bragg's doing the HD version on his channel, and Grodus is doing the original.
Indeed.
Which is the GameCube version.
Yes. That game came out in 2003 as well, on the GameCube, and the remake debuted last year.
September of last year, of 2013. To be exact.
Yes, where Link, in an adventure to try to save his sister, comes across an even bigger threat with Ganon, and, well, sets out across all of Hyrule to just search for everything and to try to destroy him, including the Master Sword. With the help of a talking boat.
Talking boat. Yeah, the King of Red Lines, to be exact. But yeah, talking boat.
Yes, the HD version, yes, do have better graphics, but but personally, in my own opinion, I think that in some scenes it could be the GameCube version plays off a little bit better, but yeah, it's up to the fans really.
Yeah, it's definitely up to the fans. The only thing I would say that's probably better about the HD version, and something I had to still do in mine, is you can actually make the boat go faster than what it can in the GameCube version. There's an item you can pick up that kind of cuts down on the sailing of the Great Sea, but other than that, it's not a big thing. And some of the hard pieces, I think, are also in different locations, because they changed a bit of the game. But I'll be showing that in my LP of it in due time.
While Grodus shows off the Tingle Tuner.
Indeed I do.
Yeah, they don't have the Tingle Tuner in the HD version. Instead, they have something else with the Miiverse, I think, with the gamepad. But I'm not showing that off in mine. You want to see it's something similar to it, like we all said, check out Grodus with the Tingle Tuner. It's kind of the same kind of concept. Similar concept. But each game got its great things, and each thing got its flaws. The graphics are a lot better on the HD version, but I kind of agree with everybody else. The original version is the better of the two, in my opinion, also. You can't beat the original. The original of a game is usually the better of the two. But it's open to interpretation.
Okay, so moving on. We're going to go to the third game now of their poll, and this one Bragg is going to announce.
Well, it's Final Fantasy X-2. It's actually, I do believe, the first sequel to any Final Fantasy game, spin-off from Final Fantasy X, which is a game that I'm going to be doing, well, a game I am doing on my channel, which will soon start being uploaded more frequently. It's basically a spin-off starring Yuna and Riku from Final Fantasy X, and a new friend called Pain. So this game has a lot of treasure hunting mini-games. It's not a long game. It does have some difficult parts, and it has a lot of replay value because you can't 100% the game in one run. You have to play it multiple times to do this. The game
also probably has the best battle system in the entire series.
It does have a really great battle system, Grodus, and it was released in 2013.
I
it
found the
was
storyline interesting in it too.
The storyline is very interesting. There's a lot of hidden scenes, and once again, just like Final Fantasy X, you can go around collecting the Albed primers to learn the Albed language. And instead of a spell grid, which a lot of people didn't like in Final Fantasy X, there is something similar to a spell grid, but it's called the dress spell. So it's, or the garment grid, I should say. So you get different items to be different powers. Mages, gunners, things like that. Dancers. So it's a great game. It does have a lot of replay value, and like Grodus said, I think it has one of the best Final Fantasy battle systems.
And the HD versions.
The HD versions recently came out a few months ago. I think it was back in March. I have the HD version on PS3 and a PS Vita. Don't ask why I have two copies of it. One for being home, one on the mobile. But they do have Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD. A lot of people are anticipating a Final Fantasy VII HD remake. But instead of getting that, we got Final Fantasy X and X-2. They are beautifully done. The graphics have been updated. I don't think they really changed anything with item locations, like the Albel primers or anything like that. I think it's the exact same game. It's just that the graphics have been updated a lot.
They also actually added extra content.
They added
international release.
You do get the international ones that you can still get on PlayStation 2, but you have to get the international ones. So you get like with Final Fantasy X, you get the Eternal Calm. And with Final Fantasy X-2, you get the last mission, which is like the international versions, like Grodus said. So it's definitely a great game to check out. It's one that I will probably do in the future on my channel after Final Fantasy X. And I will be trying to 100% it, which I've only done probably twice in my life. And it will take a while to do. But anyway, that's for Final Fantasy. Another game that's great, it's also on PS Vita, but it's got a new game coming out next year, I do believe. LittleBigPlanet. This is also on PlayStation 3. I love LittleBigPlanet. I know.
Yeah, what the hell just...
Most other people do. Yeah. What was that called?
I was going to say, I think you just got cut off. Do you want to start that off from the beginning after you said LittleBigPlanet?
Yeah, basically it's a game that's on PlayStation 3. It's also on PlayStation Vita. Is also a big lover with the game. Next year, it'll be a LittleBigPlanet 3. And it's basically a puzzle platform video game. So you can make your own levels, too, and share it on the PlayStation Network. It's a great game. You make your own levels. You can play, create, share, like I said. And it's an awesome game. If you're into those type of games, things like that, and Scribblenauts, you should definitely check out the game. It also came out... I think it was 2006 or 2007. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm kind of winning this. But it has a couple of sequels. The second one came out. I have both of them. And the third one's going to be out for PS3 and PS4. So if you're not in the mood to get a PS4 or can't afford to and you have a PS3, you can still get the third one next year. It has a lot of replay value. So you
Don't
should
forget that you can play up to 4 friends, both offline and online.
Yes. You can play up to 4 friends, like Grodus said. So it has a lot of multiplayer. It has a lot of single player and multiplayer and online value. A lot of replay value. I've never gotten bored of the game. I don't play it as much now. Gotten bored of it. And just to correct myself, the third one is coming out in November of this year.
And the original one launched in 2008.
2008, okay. So I was a little bit off by that. So 2008, I do have the game, and I have the second one. But the third one is coming out, like I said, in November of this year. So you should definitely check out that game.
Yes, okay. So let's move on to the fifth game. This is our personal favorite of around LPGrodus here.
Yep, this game was selected by me, and it's Sly Cooper and the Thievious Racoonus. It was released in 2002, or here in Europe, it was released in 2003. It's a third-person platformer with stealth elements to it. And in later games it actually would focus more on the stealth rather than the platforming. But the first game kind of works like you have a couple of levels you have to do, and you have to sneak away from the enemy and such so that you won't die. And apparently it's also been ported to the PS Vita. It was in 2010 it was released for the PlayStation 3.
Also good graphics and good storyline out of the game too.
Yeah. Although I would say that the second game is better than the first one.
I do love the Sly Cooper games. Those and the like Ratchet and Clank games and Jack and Dexter, they're all great.
Yeah.
Those kind of games are great. I love those kind of concepts. They're excellent. And I think there's even like HD version of these games on PS3. They did like some remakes of these games, made the HD versions too. So they're all great
collection
games.
with all the games in it.
Yeah. Same thing that they did with Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Dexter. They did all three of them. Did the same thing. HD collection. Kind of like what they're doing with Kingdom Hearts now and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
They're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, which is always a great thing here too.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Indeed.
Okay, so we'll move on to the 6th game here now that have inducted. Grodus, you can go ahead and tell us a bit about that as well.
Yeah, the next game is MediEvil for the PlayStation 1, to be exact. It was actually released in October of 1998, and it's a kind of hack and... I haven't played this one myself, but I kind of has a dark theme to it as well, and quite some interesting humor as it as well.
Yeah, MediEvil's a fun game. I've played it numerous times on the PlayStation 1. It's a pretty good game. I liked it. And it's a great addition to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and that's selected by Newfie Banger as well.
Yeah, that was selected by Newfie Banger. So he knows his games, and he picked a good one there for the Hall of Fame this year.
Yep, which is really great too. Okay, so I guess we'll go on to the 7th game here now. And the 7th game was actually based on a movie which came out for the Nintendo, which the game itself came out for the Nintendo 64, highly popular. One of, and you guys can probably debate me on this one of the best Nintendo 64 games out there. And the game is basically GoldenEye 007. Colette actually inducted this one in.
It's a game that I recently just bought for like $15 off someone.
Yeah.
The N64.
Which is great. You have the Pierce Brosnan version of Bond in it, and as I mentioned before, it is based on the movie. You do have also split-screen multiplayer as well. If you want to play up to 4 players, which you can use. I can't remember if you can use any other Bond, but you can use other characters that were virtually in the movie as well. So like the Natasha character that was in it, and 006, who his character was in the game. So you can play with all of them. But GoldenEye...
I could be wrong here, but I think Sean Connery was unlockable as well.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure on that one, but I think he was.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if there was or not, so that's why I figured you guys may know.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
I do not know. It's been a while since I've played this game, and it was a game that was developed by Rare too. So.
Yeah, but the game also was released in 1997 as well.
The summer of '97.
Yep.
So that's a great game. Basically, if you've seen the GoldenEye movie, it takes place basically in the Soviet Union, which is now Russia. And like Cole said, it's basically playing the movie almost. And it's really great. It's a good game. Pierce Brosnan was one of the best Bonds, I would say. I'm not sure if he's the best, but he's one of the best Bonds out there. And they use his likeness in the game because obviously it's based on the movie. So... And it's been re-released, I think, a couple of times, too. It was going to be. They were going to put it on the Wii, but I'm not sure if they actually did after.
Yep. So, we're going to go on to the next game now, while that little sound is getting broken up. So what is this next game, Ryan?
Basically, it's Oddworld Abe's Exoddus, a game for the PlayStation 1 released in November of 1998. Game that I finally remember playing. It's also available on Windows computers, Game Boy Advance, and of course the PlayStation Network. I actually have it on Steam, I do believe, or I will be getting it on Steam. It's a great platforming game. So I'm not sure who picked this game.
Samurai picked it. Actually, for the other games, Dovey was the one on a technicality that managed to get the winner in there with Paper Mario. Sorry to interrupt on this one. I myself picked Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and as you mentioned yourself, picking Final Fantasy X-2. LittleBigPlanet was actually selected by a duo group of the Joe22 and Truhu82, aka Damien. I think he wants to be preferred as now. Or DTV. Anyway, continue on.
Basically, yeah, so it's a platforming game made by GT Interactive. There's also a sequel called Abe's Odyssey. I think there's even a third one out now, or a fourth one. So there's a couple of oddball games. It's kind of a weird game. So if you're into weird platforming games with weird creatures, you'll like this game. I grew up on it. It was actually on demo discs for PlayStation 1. When you first got the PlayStation, it was on one of the demo discs. Great replay value. I love the game. That's basically all I had to say about it. It was in Japan, I think, also in 1999. It was re-released on the PlayStation Network in 2009 on October 22nd. Recently, I think it's been added to Steam and the sequel, and I think there's two games out after this one. Like I said, Odyssey is one of them, and there's a third one. I'm not sure what the third one's name is. But I do know that it is a single-player game. It's also a multiplayer game, and its genre is basically cinematic platformer. So it's a great game that was made. And basically, it was made by GT Interactive in North America, and I think Europe. And Riverhill Soft in Japan, and it was also obviously produced by Sony. So it's a great game. That's really kind of dark and weird, but it's also a great platform. So if you're into platforming games, I would probably recommend checking it out.
Yep, they're good. That is a good series, though, all the same.
And it gotten great reviews. Like back in the day, this game, I know, matter of opinion, but back in the day, like people like GameSpot gave it like 9.4 out of 10. Same thing with like IGN would say it's like an 8 out of 10, and like PC Zone, I'm not sure what PC Zone is anymore, but both of those guys kind of gave it 8 out of 10, and GameSpot gave it like a 9.5 out of 10, which is pretty good. So if you're into like platforming games, you should definitely check it out. Wouldn't hurt.
Alright, so we'll move on to the next game. Grodus, what's game number 9?
Number 9 is Custom Robo. And I do believe the one game that was picked was the first one released in the West, right?
Yes, it was for the N64.
Yeah.
This was picked by Zeo Lightning, by the way.
Oh, he picked the original or the one first released in the West?
The original, the first one. I think it's the first one he released in the West.
Okay, so then it's Custom Robo Battle Revolution. Then again, the official Western title was just Custom Robo, I believe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Released in 2004 here in Japan and North America. And it's a role-playing game where you customize your own robots by building up different robotic parts, and you use them to fight against your opponent. And the game has a quite interesting story, and the battle system is quite interesting as well. It's kind of real-time fighting, but in well, you fight your opponents kind of like in Pokemon, I would say, where you talk with them and you end up fighting them.
Yeah, that's definitely a Pokemon concept.
Yeah, I could be wrong there though, since I haven't technically played the game. I've only watched a Let's Play of it myself.
Yeah, but that is as accurate as you can get so far for us.
Yeah. But the game has a quite interesting story at the very least. So if you like big robots, do check it out.
Yes. That's so true. Okay, so I guess for the final game it'll go over to me. But the final game was actually selected by Old World Gamer. And the game itself is Champions of Norrath for the PlayStation 2. It did have online capability. It's an RPG, but you need the network adapter in order to do it. So it is also a sequel of Champions Return to Arms, which is also in the Hall of Fame poll, which got knocked out in the second round, I believe. But the story there mentions that the player has to act as hero must save the world, doing a series of quests and battles. 5 acts in the game, and well, in order to begin the game, you actually have to help out some elves and everything too. From what I've seen through some videos, the game's graphics are not bad. The storyline is pretty good as well, and they do have.
It's a very amazing game.
It is.
It is a great game.
Also, the alternate genre to this one is hack and slash. And you got different types of characters as well, like your barbarian warriors, your wood elf rangers, high elf clerics. I guess I have no idea how to pronounce this one. Erudite wizards? Yeah, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, and some dark elf shadow knights. Different types of characters in it. But yeah.
It also supports 4-player locally if you have one of those adapters with 4 controllers.
Yeah, if you had the multi-tap for the PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah, multi-tap.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, what fun times that we used to have with the multi-tap, right, Bragg?
But that was mainly when we were playing like wrestling games, but still, either way, fun with the multi-tap.
Oh yeah.
Multi-tap was a lot of fun.
So I can imagine how playing this one would be like.
It's probably just as fun, if not funner.
Yep.
It's a great game.
Oh, it is.
A lot of good games this year.
Yes. So
there's always good games every year.
So basically, that's the 10 games that were selected this year for the Hall of Fame. And next year's tournament, once again, will begin at the beginning of June and go up until about the middle of July. By the end of August, everything gets announced. So that's
and eventually, when we get the muchgames.ca new website up and going, all the Hall of Fame from the year we started to present will eventually be listed down the site. So.
Well, actually, right up until we started the video forums will be posted there.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and then the video forums will have links to the videos. So we're still working on the website. More news on that when it's available.
All right, so that's pretty well it for the Hall of Fame poll. So this is Cole.
LPGrodus.
And Bragg.
We're signing off from Much Games. Peace out, everybody.
Stay froggy, everyone.